Singers is something that I think a lot of beginners struggle with, and I definitely had a huge struggle with this. So big that my voice just cracked thinking about it. A huge struggle. But one thing we have to remember is that, it is important. We can copy styles, we can copy overtones of our voice, we can copy different things, different ways we use our voice, but ultimately it still has to be our voice. If we're trying to sound like somebody else, if we're trying to force our voice to sound like somebody else, it is damaging. And it doesn't matter if it's like you're trying to force a reggae sound, or you're trying to force a rock sound, or you're trying to any way, if you're not using your true voice that was given to you by this universe, you're probably damaging it. And it's not to say you can't sing great, it's not to say you can't sing high notes, it's not to say you can't sing the songs that your favorite singers sing, but you have to do them in your voice. Because the other thing we have to remember is that just because a singer can sing and they sound good, it doesn't mean that they're necessarily using good technique. And one band that I used to imitate a lot when I was younger, that really I love the sound of his voice, and I love the guitar, and I used to learn all their songs. Not all of them, but you know what I mean, a lot of their songs, and I try to sing them. It was Silverstein. And Silverstein, they're a post-alternative band from Canada. I've seen them in concert a couple times. I still like their music today. It's not empowering, it's more like emo, kind of depressing music, so I try not to listen to it too much. But without getting off topic too far, going on tangent too much, I copied his voice so much, and I think it was really one of the biggest hindrances in my vocal development. Shane Told from Silverstein has gotten a lot better at singing, no doubt. He sounds more connected, he sounds more supported. It really sounds like he's worked on his craft, and the newer stuff you can hear it if you listen carefully. You can really hear it. He even in concert, he's less strained. If you look at live videos, where when he first made it big, some of their earliest stuff, what were the songs? Call It Karma, or My Heroine, or My Sword Versus Your Dagger. So some of their older stuff, if you really listen to it, it sounds like he's yelling some of the high notes, and it was really restricting his range. It really was not good technique. So what do you think happened when I copied that technique? I developed bad technique, right? So, and it's not to say he doesn't sound good. He sounds good on album, but then you actually go to a concert and he sounds strained if you listen for it. And like I said, I'm not bashing on him. I still like the band, and I really have a high level of respect for the guys in Silverstein, especially Shane Told. But I would even say I had a man crush on him at one point when I was younger, and I was too afraid to admit it because I was uncomfortable with myself. But beside the point, he would sing with a very forced tone, right? If you listen to the song My Heroine, you're my heroine, it was very dark, and it was kind of it really sounds like that G note, that G4 was reaching the top of his range. And if you listen to Call It Karma, how did the lyrics go? It's been so long since I've listened to this band. Blame it on the weather, but I'm a mess. And this February darkness has me hating everyone. And I know I'm in your comfort, but this drama makes me sick. So I don't know if he says drama or struggle there, but those higher notes, you could actually, if you go back and watch old videos, I mean, he couldn't actually hit those in concert. They dropped their song way down because his voice couldn't manage it, and they dropped it really far down, not just a step, but they dropped it really far down. And so, but the point of the video is we really have to be careful about what we're copying, because yes, you can copy different styles. Yes, you can copy different tones in your voice. Yes, you can copy different things as long as you're using your voice properly and you're using your voice. Because one thing I stopped doing and that improved my sound a lot was I stopped trying to sound like anybody but myself. And the main way to do that is to practice scales. practice scales, sirens, scales, vocal exercises, because when you focus on getting that true proper closure through that bright tone and then covering it, it's much healthier than going straight covering it and adding the style. Because when you're singing, you hear the singer and you want to kind of copy them so you sound good, right? But when it comes down to it, you can't really do that. You have to sing your own voice. So, like, I could sing the same song in a brighter tone. This will be more connected. And blame it on the weather. It's not brighter, but it doesn't serve the song well. So, but if I take that sound and I cover it, weather, it's still the chord closure, but I'm making it a little bit darker, and I'm covering that sound rather than having it a lot open. But you shouldn't try it until you can get the open sound first, right? So until I can do this, blame it on the weather. I shouldn't be trying to do blame it on the weather. See, if I tried to go right into that second version of that, and I didn't have proper training, I would do what I did before. I would force it, I would strain, I would lose my voice. So it's very important to get that bright sound first, get that really big sound, and then we can start adding the style over top of it rather than jumping straight into it and trying to force it because we want to sound like our favorite singer. It's so important to embrace your own voice, find your own voice, and just embrace it and be who you are. And then once you have your voice intact and it's usable and you're good with it, and then we can start adding the stylistic tones over top of it. But until the voice is closing properly and you have proper support and everything's and all the mechanisms are there so that you're using your voice correctly and you're using it healthily and you're using it in a way that really serves your sound and your body and your vocal cords, we shouldn't be trying to imitate anything, because chances are we're not. If we didn't develop our voice first, we're probably not using our voice, probably forcing our voice to try to sound like something else, which is going to cause us to strain and push, and then it's going to cause inflammation in the voice, and then we're going to have to strain and push more or stop singing for a couple days, and no one wants to do that if you really love singing. So it's really important to just avoid it altogether and focus on using your voice. And again, that's going to be through vocal exercises. That way you don't have the singer subconsciously telling you how you should sound.